Singapore in general, it's not just a goalkeeping issue. I think it's a population issue. I think everybody knows that we are not as fortunate in other countries where maybe we have a biggest pool of talent.
Hey guys, we're here with Gavin Lee, who is the interim men's head coach for the Singapore national team. Good morning, Gavin. Thank you for joining me.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I just want to ask you, how have you been, in terms of being the, head coach of the Singapore national team?
Yeah, I think the experiences so far has been quite intense because as a head coach, normally you have quite a few things to be responsible for, but with the national team, even more so with quite a few extra departments that you have to coordinate and work with. And ultimately, when it comes to the national team, it's a lot about the planning because we get very little time together. So a lot of homework has been done before the window, the months leading up to the window, when it comes to analysis of the teams, individuals, coordinating with the media team, the medical team, and stuff like that. And then when we are here present in the camp, then it's about executing as well as we can, according to the plan. So for me, I just try to stay as present as I can, in the moment as I can, to make sure we are 100% in every single minute we spend here.
Yeah, speaking of executing, we've got a big game coming up. 2 big games actually against Malaysia national team, and you were part of that coaching setup last year as well with Coach Ogura. This time you'll be at the forefront. Let's talk a little bit about the opponent. What do you think of the Malaysian side now? How are you going into that game?
Yeah, I think Malaysia, as compared to the AFF team, will be quite different. They'll be a lot stronger, we believe, because with all the naturalised players that they have now, and obviously they have changed the coach as well. But ultimately, we remind ourselves the purpose for the game, right? Our main intention is not Malaysia. Our main intention is the 2 qualifier games against India, because that is ultimately our biggest purpose as a men's national team, which is to give pride to our people by qualifying for Asian Cup, right? So the India games are the biggest priority for us in this moment, and the Malaysia games allows us. The Malaysia game and Myanmar game gives us a chance to prepare ourselves for those games. So the game is important, but it's not the biggest importance, if that makes sense. But we're not going to change much from what we have, from the foundations that Coach Ogura has laid for us. And so we're going to go there with similar intentions, concepts, and then ultimately it's about getting the best performance that will put us in the best place for prep.
Chat to me about the players you've called up. Obviously there's some new names. There are names that have not been called up in a while, but we're also looking at the goalkeeping department, which I wanted to ask you about as well. Izwan has been called up even though he didn't play any of the club games. Do we have a problem with the goalkeeping department firstly? Do we not have enough players in that department? And also about the other players as well that you called up, maybe generally as well.
Yeah, so I think to answer the question, Singapore in general, it's not just a goalkeeping issue. I think it's a population issue. I think everybody knows that we are not as fortunate in other countries where maybe we have a biggest pool of talent. But ultimately, when it came to the goalkeepers, we have assessed all angles and we believe in this moment that these 3 goalkeepers are the right choices for us to move forward, at least in this window initially. And then when it comes to the other players that have been given their call-ups for this centralised camp, right? I think the new faces what we might talk about is like Iggy, Darren Tay, Jared, Joel, and Marla in that regard. I think with these boys, I think Iggy had a fantastic finish of last season. Yeah, very, very good. And then the way he came on and finished the game for Balestier recently was very good to see. So we knew he had certain qualities that we just want to see him in this environment, and so this was the reason why he's with us now. Then Darren is quite consistent again with Balestier last season, and so far he started well again. And so once more it's about having a look at him in this environment, and how he deals with that. And same with the other boys, because the call-ups that we've made this time around, we have only 1 league game to watch from, right? But the coaching team, actually, we have studied all their preseason matches, so we took that into big consideration as well, as to why we have brought them into the centralised camp at this moment.
There's also been a lot of conversation outside, of the football, of the players, about who's the future of the national coach going to be. A lot of conversation there. And I just want to ask you, because there's some school of thought about wanting a local coach. Would you like to be involved in some part, maybe perhaps in the future of the Singapore national team, and how that may look like as well?
Yeah, it's never there's never an easy question, easy answer for this question of the men's national head coach, right? There are many different opinions, but ultimately it's about finding the right person to bring the team forward, to bring us closer to giving the people the pride and joy through the performance and the results. So ultimately it's the collective decision made by the exco that where they find the best candidate to bring us forward, and then whichever role that they ask of me, then I'll definitely contribute my best, like I did previously with Coach Ogura, or what I'm doing now.
So we may see you in the future. You would like to be part of it?
Like I said, we take one day at a time.
Okay. I just want to ask you as well. Remember, you spoke a little bit earlier about the question of education and football, and you, I believe, are a sports science graduate, right, from the Singapore University, I believe.
Yeah, at NTU.
At NTU, yes. And also you were at VJC, I believe, as well.
Yes, I was.
So maybe, Gavin, I think you'll be the best placed person to talk a little bit about how, education, how you were able to balance education as well as your football coaching when you were doing that, and also maybe in general, a broader sense of that as well.
Yeah, so it was never easy, right? But I think fortunately for me, I was quite clear from the get-go that within football, I wanted to coach. Right, I found a lot of joy, a lot of satisfaction from coaching, and so I made quite an early head start compared to my peers. I remember the crossroads that I was when I was in JC doing the A-levels, and you got to think about, okay, which graduate course you want to do. And at that point, I was quite clear that I want to try coaching because I quite enjoy it, because I already done it for a little bit. And then I thought, like, okay, sports science will probably help my coaching, and that's why I went for it, And so when I started uni, I don't think my lecturers would be too happy to hear this, but I was more of a full-time coach and part-time student, But because I could relate most of my education content to my coaching, so I found it quite easy, And fortunately, I was able to graduate with decent-ish results. But ultimately, the degree was a good support for me, but the most important for me was my coaching badges.
Well, that's the thing though, football is it takes up a lot of your time. So how did you balance being a coach as well as a student? I understand you were doing a lot of analysis as well, right? Spent a lot of time on analysis, right?
Yeah, so again, it was not easy. It's long days. I mean, it's still long days now, right? But back then, you just had to juggle your education bits in there. Just make sure you get your assignments in on time, you attend your classes. But like I said, I found it a little bit easy because I could relate to what I was doing, right? Like when I studied anatomy, I could relate to the injuries I've sustained before as a player. I was able to relate to what my players experience as well. And then, when you talk about other things like ethics, sport ethics, and it's like, okay, you can connect to the game, and so it made my life a little bit easier, really.
All right, Gavin, thanks so much for sharing that. Before we go, of course, maybe a message to the Singapore football fans for the upcoming window as well.
For the upcoming window, just as always, I'm very sure that we'll do our extreme best to put out a performance that everybody can be proud of, individually and collectively. But we need your help, we need your support, because without you guys, the task will always be a lot harder. So with you guys supporting us, I'm sure we'll do even better. We'll be 100%, and we'll give you a performance that you can be proud of.
Thank you very much, Gavin. We wish you all the best for the upcoming window as well. Thank you.
Thank you.